But I believe in coloring the world, gotta holler to be heard in time. We can fight back, ready to go right back to the sky, to the moon, making my skyline brand new. You, you get my heart in trouble.
Hi friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. I'm your host Heather, if you're new here, and welcome back to all of you who come back every week. I really appreciate it. So this week in the studio we are continuing on with our large project bags. So we have honed in the size and the style. So these are the ones we're making for the LA Yarn Crawl. This is the large size. I've got the small sock pyramid bags. We've got the in-between ones, which are about a 3 skein project, and then this is like a 4 or 5 skein project, and the sweater bags are like a 6-7 skein project. So we'll have a nice variety of bags. So we'll be making the 4 left that I have cut out and ready to sew. So we'll be sewing those together. It's a 4-day weekend, so I'm hoping to get a lot done. We've got the second prototype of the eyeglass case to try out, and we've got to start cutting fabric for the next size project bag. So a lot going on this weekend. I am also going to try dyeing my hair purple. I just took my passport photo, so it's safe to do something crazy with my hair. And I also went to Joann's yesterday before the rain started, so I picked up this cute mug. Shiitake happens. It certainly does. And on that note, they did just announce today that they are closing 500 of their 800 stores. So all of the stores in my area will be closing. So that's really bad news for me and other crafters that rely on supplies at Joann's to get by. I did do a little impulse purchase yesterday along with the mug. But I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna wait and see if they have any closing clearance prices, and I'll run over and get some more fabric whenever that happens. But yeah, just really sad. I was hoping that if they weren't closing every store, that they might leave one of them open in my area. I've got about 4 of them. I've got about 2 that are 5 minutes away, which is great. 1 that's about 20 minutes away, and another one that's probably 30-40 minutes away. So not the end of the world if one of those was staying open, but they're all on the closure list. So I don't know how long that's gonna take. Yeah, at this point, I don't know what I would be buying other than fabric. So we'll just keep our eyes peeled and see what happens. Go to the stores and yeah, just see when they start announcing any sale prices, because I definitely want to stock up if I don't have anything close to me. I do have the M&L fabric store, which is about 30 minutes away, but they're a little pricier. They're not going to be the same, and I can't just pop over if I run out of thread and get some. So I'll have to make a list of thread colors and things that I need to stock up on as well. And it is nice and drizzly here today in Southern California with more rain on the way. So that's good for most of us. It's not good for the areas that had the fires, because now they're having mudslides. So that's not good. Just wish that rain had come a couple weeks earlier. Would have saved a lot of tragedy, but you never know. I'm also going to be starting a new crochet project. I don't know what I'm doing yet because the pattern I had picked out is a little more complicated than I wanted. So I've got 2 other patterns I'm going to try starting, and then I'll share that with you once I decide on a pattern. But we'll get that started, yeah, and just have a nice weekend. Maybe make some brownies as well, since it's nice and chilly and rainy. So if that sounds fun to you, go ahead and grab yourself a water or a cozy beverage, curl up, and let's start sewing. So I got some more of those blender fabrics that I needed for the bags we already made, and found some more. So I found this one, which is really cute. I don't know what I'm doing with that. And a really nice plaid. had on the diagonal, which I haven't seen before. And then I got, this is one of my favorites, so I got this one. And then we found all these other fabrics. So these cute ducks. Look at the ducks. They're so cute. So to get that one, that might be good for like a baby changing basket. That might be really good for that. We got these pretty ones. They're part of like a special collection, but they're on sale. So I'm going to keep my eye out for these. If they do like an out of business sale, I'm going to go back. There's a whole beautiful collection of these fabrics that I would want. And they are, does not say. It was like more of a designer fabric. We've got this one, which is similar to the art tote fabric, except it's more sewing related, crafty related. So we've got thread and patterns and yarn. I thought that would be good. I don't think I'm going to have time to use these for this year's yarn crawl, but these are definitely good ones for next year's. And then we've got this pretty one with the birds and the bees. That's really pretty. I like that. It's very painterly. And then we've got, I couldn't resist. Look at the cute dogs, the little Irish dogs. So we got all that fabric. We're back at it, friends. Okay, so I bought these stitch stoppers at the yarn store when we went there a couple of weeks ago with the intention of turning them into earrings, because I don't knit, I don't need stitch stoppers, but they're like super cute and very, very springy. See if I can get it to focus. So they're super cute. So I'm just going to turn those into earrings. Boy, I feel like I need some more coffee. This day is so dreary. Okay, so we're gonna sew this puppy together. This is the 4th of 7. We are back at it, and I'm gonna show you a trick with the handles. So you want to get them like 1/8 in here, which is like halfway through one of my sides here. So we'll do the first part. And if it's kind of leaning over, you can take it and kind of pull it so that it's even and you don't see the underneath layer. Because sometimes the clip kind of pushes it over, so you can want to pull that back over so that it's even. And I'm paying extra attention to this because the way we're going to sew it down, you're going to see a lot more of this, and you want these 2 lines of stitching to be pretty even, and you also want them to you don't want the underneath to show. Now comes the fun part. So with the second side, it's on the fold, so you don't have to be as particular. And what I like to do is I like to lean you down here. I like to put my fingers, so these 2 fingers are kind of like a guide, and I put them on either side of the edge. So we get started here, I have it lined up, and then down here I'm going to put my fingers on either side, and we're just going to feed it through really fast. So it's kind of nice because it stays in place because we've got our guide fingers down here. And I just ran out of thread. Okay, well, let's try that again. Okay, so we're gonna line our fingers up down here and just shred through it. And I'm not forcing it there, I'm just using my other hand as a guide to run it through. Okay, so that's our handles, and yeah, we'll get started on the rest. Okay, so my cutting board is definitely not doing great. The grooves are getting deeper and deeper, and it's not cutting as well. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is buy another one. They just don't last very long. There's a lot of different varieties of the smaller size one, the 18 by 22, but this one is a 24 by 36, and I find that this is like the only one I've bought that I like, but it doesn't last very long. So this is the Elan, E-L-A-N, Arts and Crafts. A1 size. It's actually 23.5 by 35.5, which is very annoying. I don't know why it can't just be 24 by 36. So I'm gonna have to buy another one of these, especially the purple side. The other side is really worn down. But you know, I cut fusible fleece with this, and then the fusible fleece is in the grooves. I do use some packing tape to kind of go through and try and pull it out, but that doesn't always work the best. So I should buy myself another one of those. So 4-day weekend, I think I'm gonna lighten my hair one more time first, dye it blonde, and then dye it purple, because the purple I have is a very light purple. It's a washout one, so I'm not too concerned about. And I got a fun treat. So, you know how I was talking about having 1 through 24 stitch markers for my advent calendar yarn so that I can put it in fade order without having to keep it in order? Well, I was looking for stitch markers, and then I realized that they're just numbered like 1 through 9. Or 0 through 9, and I didn't want to have to put 2 stitch markers on everything. And then I saw these fun alphabet ones. So since they're alphabet ones, there's 26. So perfect. So what I'm going to do is just put these on, and then when we get around to our project, I'm going to have to look back through my video and see what order the yarns were actually in, so that we can put them in the correct order. And then once I attach these and ball them up, I won't have to worry about that, because it will be on there. That'll be fun. It's raining again. Finished all of our large project bags. I'm going to go back through my pattern and fix the dimensions. And we also, did we cut the zipper shorter? Yeah, we did. We cut the zipper shorter as well. And as Wandra Laundry said, I should always cut the zipper shorter because the zipper tabs do add some length to the zipper. I don't know why I seam ripped that pyramid pouch like 3 times because I just didn't want to have to redo the tab and cut the zipper shorter, but I have made a note of that on our pyramid pouch pattern too, and I need to design something to be better than this as far as writing those things down, so that we have like a real pattern piece. And here is our eyeglass case, which we are going to be doing differently. I did find the pattern piece, so that's good. So I think what I'm going to do, if I make it this short, then we just have the snap up here, and then when I lay my glasses down, you know, it'll have enough clearance where it'll be down there. So yeah, I just have to figure out. I have to rewatch the video because she had some magic going on here. I have to rewatch. But I did like this curve, so we're gonna go ahead and cut the curve. Lucy, you're so loud. I can't see anything. Oh my goodness. My eyes are like not wanting to focus on this white on white going on here, but we will see. I also put on some green nails. The green nails always reminds me of that cheerleading movie. What was that movie where they were robbers? Just reminds me of that movie for some reason. So I have some, I looked through my scraps and the patterns were all like too big for eyeglass cases. So I have some random leftover fat quarters. I think these would be pretty with this as the lining. So just gonna cut one for now. And then I've got these 3 lemon ones left, which would be good with this as the lining. So we will experiment with that. We also have this leftover fabric as well. So you can do that, and we've got all of our snaps. So I think I'm gonna start with these 2, and we'll get those shrunk and ironed. Now, one thing I forgot to do before I got started was make sure that it fits, and it does. So that's good. I'm also not interfacing this first. We have learned from our previous adventures not to do that. So I'm just gonna cut out the interfacing with the pattern piece. So I'm just gonna cut out everything with the pattern piece. And I think what we're gonna do, since we've got these 2 curves, I think I'm gonna leave the opening somewhere in here on this flat edge. So we will sew them together, leave the opening, turn them inside out, top stitch, and then we're gonna have to stitch right here. Now this could be 2 different pieces, but I think it's just gonna be easier to be 1 piece. And maybe I leave the interfacing, maybe I leave the fusible fleece out of the seam a little bit. I'm not sure what I wanna do there. It's so hard for me to visualize this. I don't know whether to top stitch it at the end or sew it. I gotta sew these together first, then turn them inside out, and then I have to sew the other pieces together. So I don't know whether I should sew those or just top stitch the 2 pieces together. I guess I could try it either way. I can easily get 3 of these out of this fabric. So we got a lot of experimenting to do. We're gonna clip our curves here. And then we're gonna take some time really ironing this flat. So we're going to flip it over, which will be interesting in and of itself. I'm going to try and get all the way down here. And then flip it. I do have one of those turner tools. Maybe I should have made it more in the middle. Okay, so now the concept is that I would be just sewing this up the sides. See how they don't match up very well? That's because my pattern piece sucks. So we would definitely have to do something about that. Gonna sew it up the side and then stop. I use my real glasses here. Gonna stop about there. So I can just do this. We will stop about there. I want to make sure it's even. My pattern piece is not even, so none of this is going to be even. This whole top is not even. So we will definitely have to redo the pattern piece. But the idea here is that I'm just going to be top stitching here, and I don't even think I need to top stitch the bottom, just the two sides. This might actually work. So cool. And then the snap's just going to be up at the top, which is brilliant. Okay. I don't know how many people are going to want eyeglass cases. Let's just pick, yeah, let's just use these fat quarters. Okay, take two. I went ahead and left the interfacing, the fusible fleece, like really, really far in. I'm hoping that's going to help us out. I don't know, I can't sew curves very well. So do we really need the curves if we're not doing a flap now? I feel like I increase my chances of these pieces lining up when I sew them together if I don't do these curves. They're just not going to line up for me. This top stitching thing I don't think is going to work because they're just, even on the straight edge, it's not going to line up the way I want it to line up. So that's quite annoying. See, I'm not going to get these two to line up. Plus the edges just look messy. So I don't think the top stitch thing's going to work. We got to figure out a different method here. Okay, half a bag of pita chips later. We're back to square one. My brain can't focus on this. So these are everything pretzel pita chips, which are really good, pretzelized. I got these at Sprouts if you have one near you. They were 2 for 1, I think. Okay, so we are back to square one. Because of the way she sews them together, I think we just have to do it this way. So what I'm planning on doing is just having this flap. This part's going to come up higher. The flap is going to be up here further so that it's out of the way of the glasses. So we're basically taking the same pattern piece. We're going to sew this together and then flip it and top stitch it because my brain can't seem to figure out the physics on the one big long piece. So we're going to have to do a flap. Okay, my brain is very burnt out right now. I'm going to clip the corners. I'm going to clip these guys too. I think I'm burnt out. I feel like, yeah. I feel like I shouldn't have signed up for the March craft fair because I would have started everything else project bag wise for the yarn crawl in December when I have more time. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. I also don't know how the hell I'm going to get this through the hole. Especially since I added fusible fleece. How did I do it the last time? I think I had a bigger hole the last time around. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I'm just burnt out. You know, it's like the prospect of a 4-day weekend a couple years ago would have meant I had 4 days. Could have gone for a walk on the beach, done some stuff, crocheted. Now it just means, look, I have more time to make more bags. So yeah, I feel like I'm only one person. I have a high level of quality standard here in my little shop and a finite amount of time to do it because I work full time. So I think from now on, we should not commit to as much stuff, and that would make it easier for me to do a good job, try new things, make the things I want to make, and not stress so hard. Well, this is a pain. I'll be back in about 20 minutes. And here we have it. Got that. Glasses are below the snap. Only problem is these curl up. I can try ironing that down, but I don't know. Is it worth making 6 of these? Well, now I've ruined 2 of them, so 4. I would be making 4 of these at this point, because I have definitely ruined the other fabric with the prototypes. I think this looks cleaner with the edge straight across, but this is probably why she did the flap. I mean, it's probably why she did the curve, because then that doesn't curl up. It's also curling up because it's so much shorter. But it is, the glasses are below the level of the snap, which I like. That's it for this week. Let's take a look at our projects. So I was able to finish the rest of the large project bags, so we can cross that off the list. And we also tried version 2, 3, and 4 of the eyeglass cases. I'm quite frustrated with how these turned out. I couldn't wrap my brain around how to do them other than the flap. So we just made the flap shorter. We made this come up here so that it's not in the way of the actual eyeglasses, and I just did it as a complete rectangle. They're still not looking the way I want them to look. It's not straight across, and there's like some bunching because of the fleece in there. It's you know, the lining isn't like fully laying flat, so that's kind of annoying. And I managed to mess up one of the snaps, which my husband had to rip out of the fabric. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 of these. We will bring to the March Craft Fair and see how they do. I don't know that these are really needed. I had one person suggest it, so I wanted to give it a try. But yeah, I don't know that these are really worth doing, although it does have a flap, so technically you could put your scissors and stuff in here if you are a knitter crocheter, so that's a possibility, although it's not really, you know, they could still come out the sides, so I don't know that it would be useful for that crowd either. And overall, just feeling burnt out, stressed, and not like I'm doing my best work. So that's a little troubling. You know, I've been trying to get this going for about 5 years now, and it's just coming to the realization that it has to be a side hustle. It can't be a full-time job for me, because I'm not going to be able to produce the amount of bags and make the amount of money I would need to have it be a full-time job. So coming to that realization is frustrating. I knew it from the beginning, but I just didn't want to believe it. I figured, oh, this will take off. Even if it did take off and I was making as many bags as I needed and I had to do it full-time, you know, it's still not going to pay for itself. So that's where we're at. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of pull back again, and just try and not push myself so hard. So at this point, I'm working on this every single day, and that's too much for me. It's too much. I had a 4-day weekend this weekend, and I had it all planned out that I was going to do 4 days worth of sewing. And yesterday, on Sunday, I just had to stop and be like, I'm just taking the rest of this day off, because I was so frustrated with the eyeglass cases, and yeah, I just need a break once in a while. So I need to schedule that in to the calendar. We've already signed up for the March Craft Fair, so I'm doing that. I've made the bags for that. I don't really want to pull back on the amount of bags I'm making for the yarn crawl, because it's 4 days, and it's a great opportunity for me to get in front of the people who need project bags, and that's primarily what I enjoy doing, is the project bag side of things. So I think next year, if we are doing the yarn crawl again, if I can confirm the yarn crawl before I have to sign up for the March Fair, then we will just skip the March Fair and do 2 things a year. I think, you know, for the amount of time I have, this being a side hustle, that's more realistic. I mean, I can't afford to hire somebody to help me, and I don't really want somebody to help me. I enjoy doing it on my own. That was the whole point of doing this. So yeah, that's just where we're at with things. So I took yesterday off. I'm gonna get started prepping the fabric for next week's projects. Today we also had to take a trip to Joann's because they're already putting up sales. So I think I'm just gonna have to check every day from now on to see where the percentage is at. Yesterday it was at 20%. Oh, and let's take a look at our shawl. So we have landed on the Teal Tenacity shawl, which is a triangle shawl, and it's pretty easy once you get going, so I like it so far. It's just like 3 rows of double crochet, 3 rows of some holy crochets. Holy crochet, Batman! So that's what it's looking like. The only problem with the triangle shawl is it's deceptively fast at the beginning, and then each row gets longer and longer and longer. So we're on the second ball of yarn. I am cranking through that project, and yeah, just enjoying doing a different kind of crochet. For my wrist and my elbow still hurt even doing this one, so I think I'm just crocheting too much. I need to cut it back a bit. So thank you for joining me this week, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Next week we will be working on the squishy project bags. So, you know, the large project bags we just did, that's based on this original pattern. So we'll be working on this original pattern, working with some of the other cute fabrics. So I hope you join me for that. I love you, friends. See you next week. Bye.